Well, good morning. Got a fine episode here for you. We're going to talk about the oldest maple product known to man. And that is maple sugar. That's right, folks. Maple sugar is not some unique new product. It's the oldest maple product. In fact, maple syrup didn't come around until the invention of the refrigerator. So that's why we're called sugar makers. When we're making syrup, we're sugaring. It's an old term. That's why our facility is called the Sugar Works. Sugar Shack, Sugar House. The word sugar is used over and over and over. And that's because it wasn't called maple sugar, especially here in the north. It was called sugar. Let me take you over and show you something. This is part of the Underground Railroad right here. But you look over here, you see Underground Railroad, right? And then we're looking for a fella's name. There it is. Lucretius Bissell was the president of the Underground Railroad here in Northeast Ohio. So where does this tie into maple sugar? Well, during the Civil War, if you wanted sugar, you had to make it. Cane sugar was made with slave labor. And Northerners, in order to protest slavery, stopped using cane sugar and started making maple sugar, or as we would call it in the North, sugar. That was a big part of my family's history. So the whole product, how it was made, it interests me. They used to hollow out logs. So when I say they, I mean the Native Americans who taught early European settlers how to make maple sugar. The Native Americans would literally take a log, hollow it out, put the sap in the log, and then take hot rocks out of the fire and put it in the log until it boiled down and made sugar. And sugar would keep, right? So there's no moisture. You could trade it. It was currency, really. So what I like about this episode is we're just bringing back an old maple product. And it's not some hip new product. I mean, it is to some people, but maple sugar's been around a long time. Anyways, I hope you learned something from this episode. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, let's make some maple sugar. I mean, let's make some sugar. A lot going on today, Jody. A lot going on. So what are we doing here, Zach?
We're doing a sugar test.
Yeah?
Making sugar for the first time.
So what is it you're doing right now with all this setup?
So I'm going to pump the kettle full of, not full, but to the amount of syrup that we want to heat up. And we'll heat it up to 260 degrees. And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Start making sugar.
So you got your
drum
opener. So what Zach's going to do is he's going to use this air pump. He's going to pump a little bit of syrup in here, into the steam kettle. Let's make sure this baby's working. I think they already did. I think this gauge is broken. There you go. Cool. Woo! Want me to turn it on, buddy?
I think we'll get it. Hold on,
look at you.
In there.
It's like you've done this.
That space in there.
All
right.
All right, Zach's gonna pump it in. Sucks it right down, buddy. I'd put in like 2 gallons.
Yeah.
That's probably good. Buckets are everything around here, you know? Woo! Look at that. Rookie.
Shed a tear. Shed a little tear.
Let's see what it tastes like, though. Oh my gosh. Zach's favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Now this comes from First maple farm right across the state line. And this is actually courtesy of Jake Levito at Nova. I hope this will boil it. I think it will, don't you?
Oh, it does.
Okay.
I've boiled rinse water down before to a paste.
Are you ready? We got the Mackinac Bluffs team here.
So have you made any sugar before?
No.
No?
Not intentionally, at least. I made lots of sugar crystals at the bottom of pails.
Sure thing.
Or we overheated it or something, or the bricks goes way up. So what you want to do is you want to have your sample of the syrup that you're testing for invert, and you want warm water. The ratio is 1 part of syrup to 9 parts of water, so a 1 in 10 ratio. You don't want to do it you want to do it by weight too. You don't want it by volume, because the weight's different, and the weight will come out different than the volume because of the weight of this, weight of the syrup compared to the weight of the water. So we'll start by taking this out. Just have everything ready. And what I've learned too is that you want to try to touch this as little as possible, these test strips. So I'm opening a new pack today. We'll start with turning our scale on and tearing the weight of that. So it's tore already. And I've already set it to grams. So we're gonna go 10 grams of syrup to 90 grams of warm water. And just add it in slowly so that way you know when to stop.
Do you guys do this with every barrel you bring in?
We will when we start making sugar.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Because it doesn't really affect the bottling line too much.
Yeah.
I think you got it.
10 grams. That's going to be almost 9 of these, so careful not to get any on the scale. So we're going to 100 grams.
This reminds me of being in chemistry class.
You want to turn to 100. There it goes. Okay, 100.
Wonderful.
So you want to mix this pretty good. See how it's all at the bottom?
Yeah.
So just cap it off and mix it really good. Make sure that there's no swirl of syrup in there. That's all incorporated. Alright, we don't need the scale anymore. Alright, so what you want to do is, without touching too much of the test strip, we're going to grab one. When you put the strip in, it turns it on.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So try not to touch the test part. Put it in there. And then it turns on.
You could pour
And then it's ready for a sample, so.
You could pour it in that blue cap if you want.
That's true. That's a good idea.
Remember, it only needs a drop.
Yep. Alright, so. Okay, should be enough in there then. Alright, and then as soon as you put the test strip down into the solution, it should take about 5 seconds and it'll give you a reading. So it beeped. It's giving a reading. You can take it up, and it will show a number between, I think it's between 10 and 600. This thing will read up to over 600. So we have 85 milligrams per deciliter. 85. So to get the invert sugar percentage, you want to multiply that by 0.02. So 85 times 0.02 is 1.7% invert. Well, there could be a little bit of an error here and there, but for what we've come up with, probably the best invert would be 0.2 to 2% invert.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So this should be good sugar making syrup.
Is this what's in the kettle right now, this syrup?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the syrup that we're going to be using, yeah.
I like
Tasty.
the color of it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So early season syrup, can you explain why you use?
Well, with early season, it's likely colder during the day. There's less microbial activity. And so that microbiome is not converting the sugars to invert, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, and that's why you get higher invert the warmer the temps get as the season goes on. Does all golden syrup make sugar? You would think, but no. No. We've ran into that. Think you're gonna have a good sugar making day and your process gets gummed up, the sugar's thick and tacky, and we don't, at Mackinac Bluffs, didn't test every barrel, and that would have saved us, you know, some hard sugar making days if we did.
Yeah.
What is the darkest maple syrup I've ever used to make sugar? I think when we were getting started, we made sugar with every grade. Maybe not very dark, robust, but at least dark, to try it to see what works. And we can make sugar out of it, but the quality is not there. Oh,
Molten syrup.
Have I ever burned myself with hot syrup? We do everything we can to avoid it, but it's gonna happen. Al and I, when we make sugar, we wear gloves that'll extend up to your shoulders, keep your skin covered. But you need dexterity, so eventually you got to take those bad boys off. And sometimes, if you're mixing and you leave it running and it's maybe going a little too fast, syrup, you got to make sure it doesn't fling out of the bowl. We've got zapped. Just don't try to smear it around. Just let it burn where it is. But no, I think we're pretty safety conscious, and you know, we've got safety goggles, make sure that it's not getting in our eyes. We definitely try to keep the hot syrup in the bowl and not on our skin. What do I love most about maple sugar? I like seeing the process through from start to finish. That's my favorite part, because I think a lot of people, when they go to the store and they get a bag of maple sugar, do they know how much work goes into it? No. We do, and I very much respect the process and the hard work that goes into the product. And it's being there and getting my hands sticky and, you know, smelling like sugar at the end of the day. That's the greatest thing. It's the greatest thing. So this would be the boiling point today of water.
Yep.
So 210.8 is the boiling point of water today. That's going to change on a day-to-day basis, and it affects where your syrup's going to boil and maybe what temperature you should take it out of the kettle that day too. We definitely saw that, because we made sugar throughout the summer and the winter, and it's very different. You're very humid in the summer, very dry in the winter. It all affects your process. So today at Bissell Maple Farm, we are doing a small scale batch of sugar. And I believe it's going to be the first time some of your, you know, people here have seen sugar made. So this is really exciting. Taylor, have you seen it made before? No. It's a very exciting process, and it's actually quite simple. You know, you hit your benchmarks, you'll make sugar. So right now I think we have 2 gallons. Again, we're keeping this small scale, 2 gallons of syrup heating up. We're going to get it to 258. I think we'll just do that. That was our magic number.
We might already be there.
We might be there. Zach's checking on it right now. Once we get it to temperature, we'll pour it out into some sort of receptacle and bring it in here. So that 2 gallons of syrup is going to, once it reaches 258, we'll go into this Hobart mixer and we'll turn it on. It's only going to fill up maybe this much of the bowl, but you only want it to fill up this much because it's going to foam up when you start mixing it, and you don't want to fling hot syrup around. I've never made this small amount of sugar before, so I don't know how long it's going to take to mix, but I'm assuming it's going to be just a couple of minutes, if that. Well, they're going to have me look at our syrup that's cooking right now for sugar, and they want me to look at the color of it and see if I can guess accurately what temperature it is. Oh, wow. You guys didn't put any defoamer in this, did you?
No,
Okay. 2.6. No, because that would be taken off. 45.
It's almost there. It's
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
We're almost there.
We're ready to basically, okay.
257.2.
That's 48, about 48 degrees over the boiling point.
Yeah, I would say let's pull it.
However much we need, I guess.
All right.
Or all of it.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, how are you going to dump that in there? That's hot.
Yeah.
The handle's cool.
Yeah. We got one with and one without a handle.
All right. I don't know if I want to put all of it in there.
I wouldn't then. Yeah. That's probably a gallon.
Yeah. So we're on 1.
What's going on?
Okay.
Get ready to start.
I think it's okay.
Typically, how long does it take to start crystallizing?
At least with our process, doing 6 to 7 gallons of syrup at a time, it would take 7 minutes before you start to see the granulation of it.
Okay. So
Let's see if this helps
do that
us
every
here.
time too?
Well, usually before I start mixing, we dump a little syrup in, and it kind of accelerates the process. Our
Sugar.
yeah,
A little sugar in.
it foams up and almost mix faster, finishes faster. I don't know the science behind it, but to this day we would dump sugar in. And usually at this point, we would see the syrup actually foam up and then come back down. And actually, after it foams and retreats.
How much do you have in there? Did you dump it all?
No, I didn't. I was a little too nervous. Probably a gallon in there. I want to take it faster.
Just do it quick.
Oh, turn it off first?
Oh, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would.
It's what it says to do. But I don't
Really?
mind.
Well, it's not too thick to the point where I'd be worrying
Okay,
about
go
the...
Do your
Okay.
thing. See if you can bring it.
Do I have to wait till it's...
No.
No, I
Put
get it.
right up.
Nice.
Oh!
I like how it's shaking.
Al, do you want to look?
Oh yeah. Oh heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's starting to thicken quite a bit. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Look at it now.
You just needed that extra. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. I am. It looks a lot different. It's really, really light. And it could just be because we're using syrup that has good invert.
See the pieces come out?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
You gotta do it quick. There we go.
Well, it's not too thick. I'm going to go to 2.
Okay. Tastes good.
There we go. Our bowls, where they sit on the posts right here, actually gets so worn out and becomes an oval. And it gets to the point where the bowl starts to shift back and forth. And so we have my dad weld it and remill it so that the hole's nice. It fits perfect. And what we'll do after it's done mixing, we would, larger scale in our 60-quart bowl, take it off the mixer and take a big metal spatula and scrape the sides because you have crystallized sugar on the sides of the bowl. When we would sift it right as it came off the mixer. So it's hot, so we'd wear a couple layers of gloves when we pushed it through our screens.
You're saying that this is actually done.
It's not gonna look fluffy, at least in our experience. It's until it cools and it's been sifted.
I got you.
You could,
So you're saying you can mix this forever. It'll eventually dry out.
yeah, and we would actually have problems if we mixed it too long. We would get little beaties that cooled into hard chunks that wouldn't go through our screen.
Okay. Put her in the bowl.
Boy, how do you get all that off of there?
We would take our spatula and like scrape it like this. Oh, gotcha.
Zach, you know how these sifters had... Oh, you're doing it that way.
Can I do it a different way?
Yeah. You can pop this off of there.
I think your paddle moved. Actually, if you notice, the paddle is like loose now.
Take this back.
We always leave the paddle with a little sugar on it because it helps our next bowl.
That tastes so good.
It's a little tacky, but it'll look fine once it's screened and once it cools. We would just kind of, because it's hot and kind of tacky yet, we would force it through like this.
And then I can have them rinse this out.
Stuff.
It is.
I'm gonna make a mess here. Probably could have mixed it a little more. See, you can kind of form
You
it.
can make a snowball.
Yeah, maple snowball. I mean, I really want to eat this right now. A ball of pure sugar. Honestly, we're not going to have any pieces that aren't going to sift through. Turns into like almost like just regular white granulated sugar. It has that nice flow to it. We're getting it through, but it's taking a lot of manual. See, like if you put it on here and just shook it like this, it would never go through. But something that we would get used to doing is we have those like shallow storage totes that we would use for our sugar, and we'd always be mixing them because right now if you have chunks that are like as big as, you know, a piece of gravel, if you let it cool, it might stay like that. It might turn into a rock, so we're always breaking it up. Just, yep. Some people will let it cool. If it gets clunky, they'll put it through a grinder. We didn't have that at our operation, so we had to make do with what we had. You can absolutely put too much syrup in there, end up with so much sugar that the paddle can't take it, and the paddle will snap, and then you've got a batch of sugar with potential metal pieces in it. But also, what I was concerned about is usually as soon as I turn on the mixer, within that first minute of mixing, the syrup expands and gets really foamy. And if you have too much in there, it will foam over the sides. Start flinging it around. I did not see that here. Could be the size, could be the temperature we took it to. There's lots of things. There's lots of variables in syrup. That actually feels cool. There's definitely no steam coming off of it. But it still feels tacky like the last batch. So we found out that the mixing it extra did actually not help us.
Did it worse because it's finer?
It actually kind of got even like,
It's still tacky, but it's just compressed together.
yeah, it's more dense. See that?
Huh. Does this help, like, just break it up?
Yes, breaking it up. You need to do that until it's completely cool.
So would you call this a coarse screen? Pre-screen?
This is a very coarse screen. The other small one is actually what we use on a day-to-day basis. It
You
looks
don't
like
even bother going through one like this?
No, we don't. We don't have enough reason to. We don't have particulates or chunks or anything like that.
That's cool. Cool shot. Hey, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next episode. So, enjoy the episode. It's sugar time. I don't know. How do I want to transition this? You know what they say about the maple industry? It's pretty sweet. Maple industry's sticky. I got to come up with some sort of joke on this stuff.